Russia is deploying its latest Su-57 fighter jets right on the borders of Japan and China. Moscow says this is routine, but the context is political. In Tokyo, conservatives are announcing the rebuilding of the army and a new strategy to deter opponents. This is another move in the global rivalry between superpowers, which is also important for the security of Poland and NATO's eastern flank. Russia is deploying forces in the Far East, which many see as a sign of geopolitical turmoil. At least 15 Russian Su-57 fighter jets have appeared at the Gyeonggi air base, close to the borders with Japan and China. This move immediately raised questions about its actual significance. Russian media are talking about strengthening defences on their eastern flank. Western sources, including Ukrainian intelligence, see this as a response to political changes in Tokyo and a demonstration of Moscow's military presence to potential adversaries. This is intended as a signal to neighbouring Japan. The recent consolidation of power by Prime Minister Takaichi reinforces expectations that the country will move more quickly toward remilitarization, focusing its attention on both China and Russia as part of its alliance with the United States and the broader Western bloc. In Japan, the right wing decisively won the recent elections and now have virtually full power. The first announced change concerns Japan's security policy. Prime Minister Takaichi has spoken at length about the need to revise the pacifist constitution and strengthen defense capabilities in the face of tensions with neighbors, China and Russia. We will accelerate the schedule for revising 3 strategic documents and fundamentally strengthen our national security policy. The state must be prepared to defend itself with its own forces. No one will come to the aid of a country that lacks such determination. We will resolutely protect the peace and independence of our country, its territory, territorial waters and airspace, as well as the lives and safety of all citizens. A country that does not take on challenges has no future. It is precisely this change in Tokyo that may be the impetus for Moscow's moves in the Far East. Japan and its allies are accelerating the modernization of their armed forces, which Russia sees as a threat. The display of Russian aircraft claimed to be 5th-generation fighters is meant to intimidate Russia's potential adversaries, though they fall far short of Western standards. For the West, this is another signal that global security issues cannot be conceived of only within a single region or continent.
Now it's time to march out together, to be pragmatic, to be focused on the kind of flexible realism that the national security strategy and the national defense strategy are based on and really exhibit. And I think we have a really strong basis for working together in partnership, but putting NATO kind of a 3.0 NATO that's based a partnership rather than dependency, and really a return to what NATO was originally intended for.
Looking at the moves made by Russia and China, it is clear that global military tension is increasing. It's not just about Taiwan, Japan or Ukraine. It is about geographical dominance. One of the keys to this is the Arctic, a region of growing strategic and national resource importance.
I think one of the most concerning changes in the security situation has been the growing collaboration between Russia and China in the Arctic. And we've seen that over the last several years. It's been both in the maritime domain with increased joint patrols, as well as in the air domain with long-range bomber patrols being conducted jointly. So the activity that they're doing together is definitely increasing. At any time our competitors or our potential adversaries are doing that, it's something that we need to pay attention to.
NATO's response is the recently launched Arctic Sentry program, a reinforced presence and monitoring in northern Europe and the Arctic. The alliance wants to secure key transport routes, airspace and energy infrastructure in the face of growing Russian activity.
But today, we also saw evidence of something else, a real shift in mindset, a unity of vision, a much stronger European defense within NATO. Everyone around the table engaged, with a sense of urgency and ownership in how we are working together as allies to deliver effective deterrence and defense.
This shows that Moscow's demonstrations of force in the Far East and the Arctic are part of a single strategy, building pressure in multiple directions simultaneously. For Poland and NATO's eastern flank, this means maintaining readiness across the entire security system. Global rivalry translates into regional tensions, and every show of force affects the overall balance of deterrence.